person was inciting violence or something like that. This government do not condone incitement to violence, and that is the reality of this government. So I know you know within your psyche. I'm not trying to psychoanalyze you, but that was political rhetoric, or as we say in Calypso, hyperbole. Thank you very much.
Hi, good morning. PBS Radio. Okay, PBS Radio because there's. I'm going to ask a question not specifically on the call, but a press statement was released yesterday from the Minister of National Security on the rescue of Asian illegal migrants. So I have a question. Asian nationals illegally migrated to the country on September 20th, 2023. Is the government aware of that situation? If so, what is the government doing to deal with this issue in regards to the illegal movement of Haitian nationals facilitated by Dominicans?
As I've heard from me in the past, and the government officials, the police, even our Prime Minister, that we welcome everybody to our shores, but we expect everybody to respect the laws of the country. Now, on the specific issue that you're referencing, I'm aware of it, but to date, by way of the filing of a report, we're not able to establish as to whether the boat actually left Dominica. And my instruction as a minister, and as a government position, that the people who are intercepted, the non-nationals, have to be sent back to the country. I can say to you. Thank you very much. Yeah.
I have a question for the chief of police. I'm going to stray a bit away from the gun violence topic. As it relates to the disappearance of Kanisha Etienne last year, I'm just, as it relates to Kanisha Etienne, a lot of people are actually asking, has it stopped? What has been going on with the investigation and also the alleged discovery of Kian? Can you please?
You say the alleged discovery of Kian?
Did you say the alleged discovery of?
Excuse me?
The alleged discovery of Kian?
Yes.
What's that?
Right. So also we'd like to find out if there's an update.
No. Please take your time. Just rephrase the question. Repeat the question, please.
It relates to the disappearance of Kanisha Etienne last year. Mainly, are there any updates, any new findings in regards to the investigation for Kanisha Etienne?
The search for Kanisha Etienne has been exhaustive. The police force worked in close collaboration with the French authorities. We in the early stages of the searches, the public gave us great assistance. And the French offered, and we requested also assistance from the French. We had numerous soldiers coming at different times from the French to help us to do the search. And that search was conducted in collaboration with us. We were right there. And the French also had numerous flyovers with their helicopter. And yes, you want from one? Yes. And we had no success, I must say. We're still open to any information that could help us to find out. We're still open. There may be somebody who knows something. So we never know. In terms of reference to Kian, that is a matter that is before the coroner's court. There will be an inquest. and the inquest will bring closure to this matter.
Okay, so does that mean that the body is still at, waiting for some?
Yes, the after the postmortem and over to the family to bury Kian. Some legal ramifications came about, and Kian body stayed at the funeral home for quite some time. And I can tell you that I received a copy of a letter addressed to the lawyer and the family of Kian. The body should be removed from the funeral room for burial because there is a cost to it. The cost is not that of the police. It is not that of the government. The family is responsible to meet the cost of the funeral. They automatically hand it over to you from the government. So that is how it is.
So
As to if he's buried, is he buried?
No.
I can't know he was buried, but I know for sure that the funeral home they wrote and they give a date by which time the body should be removed. And there's a cost to it. That's what I can say.
Thank you.
Dominica News Online. My question is to the Minister of National Security. Can you speak on the appointment of new magistrate at the court to assist in the speedy prosecution of matters, especially gun-related? Very often, we hear in the court that consideration is given to the length of time a defendant spent on remand, so the court can deal in that regard.
As you heard during our budget presentation, a commitment was made to hire additional magistrate. As we speak, we're in the process of doing that, and we shall be hiring additional magistrate to add to the current numbers on the bench.
Any updates, Commissioner, on the French national has listened for some time?
You're referring to the young lady? That too, the police, in collaboration with the French authorities, we have conducted. French came down with their soldiers. We did the search in collaboration with them. We traversed all the segments, all the trails, and we have had no trace.
Mr. Blackmore, just a follow-up question, sorry. Can you speak about the position with Mr. Bernard Paquet? He was a former magistrate. We understand that his contract was not renewed, and there are a lot of matters which are pending before him. Should Mr. Paquet his contract not be renewed, and this matter have to go through the entire state again? Can you speak on that, please?
From what I know, that the contract for Mr. Paquet came to an end, and any subsequent engagement of that magistrate will be communicated to the public.
Hassan Robinson, BDS. This question is in relation to recently they found 2 bodies. The question is basically for the Ministry of National Security as well as presently we notice that technology has been increasing. How has the police and the ministry been utilizing technology to help deter crime, such as fingerprints and that type of thing, so that it will prevent people from feeling they can get away with some of the crimes?
The police have the capabilities to use fingerprint and photography, and we also have the capabilities to go through the process of DNA. So we have highly trained scenes of crime technicians assisting us with their police officers. They are assisting us with that process. So also. So we're using the technology that is available to us. And we also go as far as getting assistance from the region to assist us in our crime detecting efforts.
Okay. Just to add to what the chief has just said, and the questions were asked about the French Kanisha, may her soul rest in peace. So, so from what we have gathered, well, if anybody knows of her existence, we're happy to know that, if something miraculous were to happen and she's alive. But from what we know, that it's the possibility is that she has gone to the good beyond. And we have learned from those experiences, and to therefore build up on our capabilities insofar as search and rescue is concerned. And we are currently we have learned from that, and in keeping with the need to boost our technological capabilities, we are now equipped with the police force is now equipped with drones to that effect. With effective range, which I'll not mention, and other capabilities. All right?
I want to ask something I saw surfaced not too long ago, as it relates to an individual who was charged with murder and subsequently discharged from the courts for a long time. And then police record that was in the public domain. And people seem to be very concerned about that. Is that how it is done? You say, I am charged with a capital offense, and it's not that I have not been, but the court is saying because of the length of time it took to prosecute me, so there's, some issues with that. Because of the length of time it took to prosecute me, I am closing that matter. And then I apply for a police record, and I get a clean police record. How is that done? How is it done? So?
Well, I was talking during our engagement with the public, as we strive to work in concert with the public and to build partnership, and very instructive. And he said to me, you know what? We give any police blows, but the police apprehend people and hand them to the court. You understand what I'm saying? The police apprehend people and hand them over to the court. That was, you were speaking in layman language, but I understood what you were saying. And they get released by the court. In one of the instances, a guy who committed murder, right, which resulted in his death of someone who was on his deathbed, was on remand, but he was placed on bail for $50,000. Do you get my point? Now, we live in a system where people are tried. If you're charged for an indictable offense, and it goes through the PI stage for the magistrate court, all you need to do is to establish whether there's enough evidence for you who have been accused to answer your charge at the High Court, at the Supreme Court. That's all. You're not having a trial. When that has been exhausted at the magistrate court, it seems to me you cannot blame the police. It seems to me, based on the gravity of the offense, murder, the reasonable thing to do, embracing societal and the public interest, is to ensure that the matter is heard by a judge and jury. Do you understand what I'm saying? There's no limitation of statute for murder. So if a matter is pending before the court, every police officer has given evidence. Or more so if you have what they call paper committal at the magistrate court level. The matter is before the court. Once you depose once you're deposed, you are given sworn evidence. Even if the person who have investigated the case is refusing to present himself before the court, the court issues an order for that person in the box as a hostile witness, let that person perjure himself and send himself to jail. That's how the justice system ought to be working, not the police. So we have to make a separation of powers between what the police can do and within whose domain, okay, the competencies to deliver matter. So I think that is a very important question you're asking, and that is why everyone within the system has a role to play. The police has to investigate, but the court also has a responsibility to the broader society. You see? And then to take a decision in a room by yourself and to let off somebody who have been accused of killing somebody else, to me, the test has to be in keeping with the public interest.
Yes, but sir, having said that, remember, there's a length of time. There's a length of time, and we the length of time. But to further exacerbate the whole situation that you have spoken about, the person is out and then applies for a police record. One second, sir. And gets a clean police record. They're not convicted. Gets a clean police record and have it brandished all over the place. So then society is saying, is that really right? That is the question society is asking, you know. Is that right? So, I mean, yes, you've given all kind of things, but is the length of time, and if I may go back, sir, with what you just said, when you have matters before the courts, and the matters take a long time, and when magistrates' contracts are not being reviewed, and matters have to start de nouveau, that too is not helping the justice system. Because we have matters where a magistrate contract was not renewed, he had 60 matters in the Portsmouth area, critical matters, including murder. Now, if that magistrate is not back on the bench, it has to go before a new magistrate. He has 20 matters in Roseau, in total 80. Is that justice to the person and the person's family and the society on the whole, sir? I don't know if we're going to address that, but I am concerned and society is concerned about that.
Okay, we're not here this morning to litigate those issues that are beyond a point of exhaustion. And a question asked by this young lady, in keeping with what you just asked, it was answered, and that answer remains. Okay? Yeah.
Yes, Julian Morris, yes.
Okay, so final question?
Yes.
Yeah, good,
yes.
thank you.
I listened carefully, but I'm not sure I heard in terms of deterrent. Yes, we're doing good at customs, you know, port entry at the other end, as far as laws are concerned, and perhaps bail act and so on. But I'm wondering to what extent the discussion on, what leads is, a hardened criminal doesn't necessarily think of jail time necessarily as a punishment. I wouldn't think so. It's like, I'm alive, and perhaps it's sort of a kind of quasi-hotel or something. A day, like it's good until I get back on the street again. So I really feel the whole discussion, the whole equation, at some point there must be some kind of deterrent. I know there was one country where the leader was notorious for doing his country doing that. I don't want to mention the country, but I don't know. Offense died, or do we can we able to stop at jail time, or increase jail time? But to what extent, though, is that a deterrent? for the hardened criminal. So, I know what I want to say, but this is as far as I can go. So
you have to ask the question.
Well, that's the question. How far can you go as far as providing or considering the deterrence? Do we have any just beyond just jail time?
Namely,
because parts of the world where you know the price is steep, you could find yourself executed. You know, I mean, yes, I don't be surprised. People shouldn't be surprised and say that because it is a fact in certain parts of the world. That just, you understand?
the thing is, okay, I know what you want, because we have been there for the whole morning. We enjoyed that meeting, the press conference. The fact of the matter is, I cannot put the words in your mouth. I think we're there to answer questions. You have to ask the questions specifically. But if I may want to assist you, I don't know, the death penalty still exists in the book. I know there was a brutal murder in stock from somewhere, I think, and I think that the state had made a request, well, the prosecution had made a request for the death penalty to have been sought. You get my point. But the court has a particular view on that matter. But of course, that is why I'm speaking about you have to have, the law has to have sanction, that the sentence must suit the crime. But at the same time, we must have a plan to save our younger people. Okay? And that's why the whole question of affirmative action comes in, where we bring in all the players within socialization to assist in that project of trying to get our young men who are more inclined to commit crime to be less inclined in committing crime, to say that is what we think we can do, and that's how we're going to work with you. Having said that, if you're found with an illegal firearm, the strict rules should apply, and therefore the police have to continue with their proactive stance, and some of the details of the interventions that cannot be made to the public. But I understand where you're coming from. You have a hardline view of as to how perpetrators of particular crimes should be dealt with. Yeah. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, you have been a fantastic group so far, and we have gone beyond our time frame, and we're looking forward to have more regular such engagement as time progresses. I think as we embark, we shall be having our first community outreach program in Granby on the 11th of this month in the village of Granby, and we're hoping to replicate similar activities throughout the country. So thank you very much for being here this morning, and the questions that were asked, I think you were very respectful, and may the good Lord continue to bless you. Thank you very much. Ms. Williams.
Deputy Chief of Police, Mr. Lincoln Cobbett,